What is going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of Airsoft High-Lows, where we aim to use two different budgets to build out the same type of airsoft gun. A high budget and, of course, a low budget. So, while we are now at episode 4, have you had an opportunity to check out all the other episodes? Maybe the Chris Vector episode would tickle your fancy, or the M4 AEG, or the OG episode where we tackled the High Kappa. Today we tackle a classic, a gun that's been around for a long time. And for some OG airsofters, you're gonna love this one. And for some new players, I'm sure you're gonna find this gun interesting as well. Now, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the pocket sniper itself, the Tokyo Marui MK23 non-blowback gas pistol. The Tokyo Marui MK23 pistol is one of those guns that's been around for quite some time and has earned a great reputation for itself for its incredible gas efficiency, accuracy, and its ability to really act as your pocket sniper. So in this episode, we're gonna hand it off to Ryan Sensei and see what he has in mind when it comes to the MK23. How is he gonna build it out, and what are the parameters gonna be? Well, without further ado, Ryan Sensei, take it away.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, the MK23, the SOCOM. You know, it's always been that aggressive primary pistol known for in its many, operations with the, special forces and those top secret guys. Cool, silent gun. Also, those Metal Gear fans. Amazing gun. And it's also a really great pair for snipers, or a sidearm for snipers, due to its innate extreme silent capabilities. However, there's a few downfalls to this platform. Even the legendary Marui platform has these issues that we seek to rectify with the higher end SOCOM that we'll be building, but let's get to that now. So, as we all know, anyone that's ever shot one of these guys, they're like, oh yeah, it's super quiet, shoots super straight, very consistent, is nice and beefy, so I can use this as a primary if I want. However, that trigger pull. Yes, some people, they say, hey, you gotta get used to it. If you get used to it, you can pull it fast. But there are many ways to get around this issue, and we will show that soon. But that is probably the biggest issue, in that since it's not a reciprocating slide, you have to make that double action a little heavier for it to function and for all the gas system to actually operate. And that is why it's a little heavier than most handguns. So yeah, let's move on to upgrading these guys. All right, folks, so let's get to working on our MK23 SOCOM. So first, we're going to take the standard one, no upgrades at all, and we're going to put a few things in it. There you are with all the internals. So today, the simple thing we're going to do with our barrel assembly is switch out the plastic, how can I say this? The plastic outer barrel or outer barrel shell, and replace it with a 14mm counterclockwise one, so you can use whatever tracer units or suppressors or whatever you want to put on here, since the original or stock thread is much bigger and only compatible with the suppressor that comes with the gun. This outer barrel will actually give you more durability, and since it's not plastic or anything, it's fully metal, it'll also allow you to as big of a suppressor as you want if you want to extend the inner barrel much further for that higher FPS and range and such. And we've already installed our wide use purple 9-ball bucking in there, which we used with our high kappas. Same bucking. All of that combined with our 6.00 power barrel for the SOCOM, which gives you that extra oomph with FPS increase and consistency between shots. Since it's not a blowback, you have a lot more consistency with every shot. With all that said, it's all neatly compacted into this one unit. You slide it into your slide this way, push it forward just a tad, and up, and then there it is. That is all you need to do for that portion. Next big change we want to make is the valve. So here's where the biggest change comes with the valve. The stock Marui valves for all their handguns are actually designed originally for this duster gas, as you can see here, or the HFC 134A. Basically, it's very similar to the gas or the air you use, the compressed air you use for keyboards and computers. It's quite weak, but it's what is legal and allowed to be used in Japanese guns. Therefore, all Marui guns are actually designed to function on this gas with their plastic slides. Now, overseas, people tend to use green gas and various other higher pressure gases. So we've actually designed our red valves, variable adjustable valves, for green gas. So you can use green gas with the stock valves and it will function all right, but you'll get the most bang for your buck if you have a valve designed for green gas. And this valve, what's special about it is that it also has the ability to adjust the FPS, consistency, as well as the gas efficiency. All right, and we're back with our higher grade SOCOM. If you really love your SOCOM and you want to make sure that it's like pimped out to the max, what you're gonna want to do is do everything you did with the lower budget SOCOM. So get the bucking, the power barrel or standard barrel at various lengths, and then also make sure that you have this green gas valve. For the higher end builds, you absolutely need this valve, or the functions in the higher build will not function at all. So the big upgrade to this is the whole trigger unit that we have created, the light pull trigger unit, or the fast pull depending on who you talk to. But essentially what it is it reforms the whole gas system and a few of the springs, as well as the knocker and everything, hammer spring as well. The whole trigger unit we produce allows for simple, quick, light trigger pulls. But this will only function if you're using green gas. If you're using the old Japanese duster gas, you can use it without the valve. But if you're using green gas like many people in the world do, you will have striker errors, you will have feeding issues, you'll have a bunch of issues if you do not use the green gas valve. Right, so once you install the trigger unit and you get that nice light trigger pull, the next thing you want to do is take that whole barrel system that we also use for the budget one and slide it into your Gunganir slide. So this is our custom slide we make for the SOCOM, specifically for the Marui SOCOM series. And it's got the nice angled iron sights, backup sights if you really need them, on the sides here at a 45-degree angle, and also a mount for your optics. And this can take modified Delta, SIG optics, Marui Pro sights, and many others. It does not take RMR, unfortunately, but it's something we'll look into in the future. So once you get your blowback unit situated inside the slide, take that whole outer barrel, bucking and barrel set unit, slide in there, just like with the stock slide, and then you're good to go. Another thing, I added this myself. It's absolutely not mandatory at all, but you know, a little rubber grip for some extra grip when you're going super secret spy Metal Gear Solid style. Gotta have that extra grip.
Okay, so is this the low 23?
So yes, this is our budget 23. One more time with the 9-ball bucking, barrel, and the upgraded valve here. Okay. As well as the outer barrel for your 14 millimeter counterclockwise.
I see. So for the test, since we don't have a range, I think the best way to do it is to see just how consistent this pistol can perform. Yes. I'm not talking about FPS. I'm talking about like, how does it feel to shoot, right? Because I know we have a light trigger pull kit.
Yes.
Did you put that in here?
So that one's actually in the higher version.
Oh, excellent. Yep. This goes right down exactly what I was thinking that I want to do.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to test the two of them. We all know how these things perform, but I think where this is going to really shine is I'm going to try to see how fast I can shoot both of the Mark 23s. I mean, come on, they're a pocket sniper rifle. They're by no means used to be some kind of suppressive fire weapon. But what we are going to do is we are going to take this, and I'm going to run it as fast as I can just to see how many rounds I can throw out. So, but we have 10 in the magazine right now?
Yeah, you got about 10 rounds in the mag, and he's just going to mag dump them, and we'll have a timer up here somewhere.
Well, somewhere on screen we'll have a timer, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right. 10 rounds. We're running green gas. Force of habit. Here we go. That's it. Now, for the expensive boy. 10 rounds. Again, force of habit. Don't blame me. Don't flame me in the comments, boys. Here we go. Okay, that shot much faster. To give you an idea of how they feel, with the low 23, each trigger pull, I had to pull it all the way back before you had that break. This one, now look, there's nothing in here. It is here, and it's very light, break. And then here, and then break. It is much shorter than the standard trigger that you have. And the pull is very light, allowing you to really shoot one, follow up with another one. So while, yes, you're not going to turn this into some kind of suppressive fire powerhouse, what you will be able to do is if you got multiple people behind cover, you can now pop all of them with just one of these. Fantastic. All right, so I have to say, it pains me that we cannot take these two pistols outdoors, but I'm just gonna say it. We will be taking some of our pistols with us to a special place, and we will do a supercut of the upgraded Mark 23, and just to show you how far it can shoot. So it will be a supplemental video, so make sure you follow us on our social media.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, I do have to say that that trigger, every time I shoot it, it is just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah. So like you mentioned how the follow-up shots were much easier.
Yes.
And even time-wise, it's only like maybe a second or two faster. But the real point is something that you made is how heavy it feels. So you're shooting this thing all day long, and if it's got that stock heavy trigger, man, you're gonna get slower and slower throughout that day. But with this guy, you can just keep going.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
I think, you know, the best thing is, especially if you live in a country like we are here in Japan, even a lot of our outdoor fields are not gigantic size like we have back in the US or Europe and stuff like that. So if you don't want to lug your big bolt action sniper rifle with you and you just want to be very sneaky, right? Running that Mark 23 with our light pull trigger, and maybe even running a hybrid between the low Mark 23 and the high Mark 23 would be a very viable option.
Exactly, and absolutely think you're correct there is that, like, hey, again, these are just guides on how you want to build your guns based on your budget, but like with this one, you could just run that valve and the light trigger pull kit and, you know, everything else stock, and it'll be just fine, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or if you live in a place where green gas is okay, heck, you can just run the valve if you want.
Yes, and that is a good point too, because you don't need to run that and then only with the valve. You can run the valve stock without the trigger kit and still get that extra FPS, the gas efficiency, and all those perks with just using the green gas valve. And remember, you need one for each magazine because, you know, they control each of the gas systems.
Yes. You mean I can't change the valves in between games?
I mean, you can if you want, but darn.
Ryan Sensei right here pointing out the obvious. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. And of course, our supplemental content coming out. You will be able to find it on our socials, so make sure you follow them on screen right now. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe.
Yes.
Share this with a friend. I'm sure there's friends of you out there that would love to use a Mark 23 or have just a certain affinity for the Metal Gear series.
Of course.
Which I do myself. So with that said, guys, until the next episode, we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.